Petland, they're great because they run like a pet store, but it's AKC that does the adoptions.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like you're buying puppies from a puppy mill.
Yeah.
Everything's done by AKC. So obviously they're tested, they're treated well.
Yeah. See, that's good.
So we went in there and they have like you can take the puppies out and play with them, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so we walk in there and in the center thing is a little Rottweiler puppy.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, if I had the room, I would walk out with this Rottweiler. They had a husky puppy too. And then they had a little dachshund. He was this big.
Oh,
he was so cute. I love him. And then you would like him too because they have lizards and snakes and all that stuff too.
See, weirdly enough, I think snakes are cute. I don't want one as a pet. I do like lizards though.
The only one I would get is a hognose.
Yes, hognoses are very
good. They're hilarious because they play dead. My
best friend had a hognose.
And they play dead.
Roll over and go, eh.
Yeah, it's so funny. I miss having a gecko though.
Yeah. See, the thing with geckos is I wouldn't want to get as cute as they are, a crested gecko would give me an anxiety attack because they jump a lot.
That's what I had.
See, I need to be cute enough that I can keep an eye on it because I would also get a jumping spider, but I'd be horrified that I'd lose it. I'd be too scared.
I need to find a friend that has a spider just so like I can take it into the house just to fuck with Ben that we got a spider.
Smash it.
And then see him freak out.
Oh my God.
We're fucking with Ben next weekend. So Ben has drill next weekend. Next weekend's my birthday. Well, next weekend is also Gary Con in Wisconsin. So we told Ben we were going to go without him.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, you're not. So what I'm going to do is use AI what it's perfect for and have AI create a picture of, we're going to turn off our locations and have AI create a picture of Pam and I at Gary Con meeting like Luke Gygax.
That's crazy.
And send it to Ben and fuck with him.
Hey.
Because Kate also took off work
I took off of work on Friday, which is my birthday.
So theoretically, where we're going,
we could actually do it.
It's like 7 hours from here.
Yeah, you could. So, see, I was thinking plastic cockroach in the sock.
I mean, I could.
Yeah.
I could.
But then he's going to get a fake snake. And put a fake snake in your bed.
Ooh.
Please, God, don't. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I said Ben will do that if you do the cockroach thing.
No, he would do that if I did the spider, not cockroach.
That's what we need to do. Get a fake spider and put it on his pillow. Oh my God,
yeah.
No, I'll be nice.
No, we put it on his pillow. So like he comes home next Sunday and plays with us and all of that stuff and goes to get in bed because he's going to be tired after drilling all weekend and goes to lay down and there's a fucking fake spider right in his pillow.
Legitimately kill
You should do like a fake tarantula.
He will legit kill us.
He'll scream like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which will
Tarantulas
be fun.
are cool. Behind a glass.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch.
Listen, I'm not deathly afraid of spiders. I don't prefer them.
Yeah, I think they're cool looking. I think that the little jumping spiders are cute. But I don't want them like touching me. I respect it from a distance.
I don't think anything should have more than 4 legs. That's it. I mean, nothing should have more than 4 legs.
No.
I also think beetles are cute until they open their wings. That I'm scared shitless.
I want to get a chameleon.
I like Bumblebee.
They're cool, but they're very hard to take care of.
That's what I heard, that they are so hard to take care of.
The humidity in that tank has to be perfect at all times.
Yeah. But they're so fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love chameleons. I had a friend that had one. He never had a bug problem in his house.
Yeah.
We would take the chameleon out. They would see a bug. They would take the chameleon and just eat it. Like all the fucking.
Recommend doing that.
All the stink bugs that we get.
Yeah.
I don't recommend doing that because they could have parasites or have gotten into insect killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I would love to have one, but they're so hard to maintain.
They are very hard to maintain. I almost got a oh god, what was it?
No boosters. Ben got called into work. He I guess he's on call. He just got called into a Costco job.
Sugar gliders are very hard to take care of too.
Yeah, and they're cannibals.
But I would love one.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cool. When I was in high school, I had a teacher that had rescued a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a classroom pet that was a squirrel.
That's cool.
And it was so cool. It would literally like come sit on like our shoulders and stuff.
I almost got you can't see it, a Chinese water dragon, but then I found out you like have to make the like set up yourself. Like I would have had to go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and get like some lumber and make the container myself.
And he's talking about Chris.
Oh no, Ben. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's confusing.
Yeah,
it is. Chris took the month.
He set this one out.
Yeah.
He'll be in the next one. Everybody will be in the next set.
Yeah.
It's Chris's fault for naming a character Ben.
Yeah. It was confusing. But we did get Ben a few times with I told Ben to keep us updated. That sounds like Halo.
It's Tainted Chapel. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a chapel or something.
Like this is the combat. But like the location.
Oh, that one's spooky.
They're so creepy.
It's so good.
Oh, no boosters. I'm terrified of birds, so that would not work.
I would love a bird, but I wouldn't be able to keep the environment it needs. They're very sensitive creatures.
They can also be annoying, like Ben's mom's birds. They don't shut. His mom's bird does not shut up.
We have two cats that would try to eat it.
Oh my god!
At night,
yeah,
but that's because it's covered.
Yeah,
they all do.
But if that cage is uncovered, that bird does not shut up.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't mind birds.
They're very fragile. They don't show that they're sick until it's an emergency. It's just so much.
Give me a raven.
Yeah, I'd like to teach a bird to like talk. Yeah. Or I'll put it this way. I want a flock of outside ravens or crows that I commune with now and then.
Yeah. Give me a murder.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a murder.
Yeah.
Murder of crows.
Because they will. They'll walk with you and protect you. They'll give you stuff. It's crazy.
If you treat them right, they remember.
Mm-hmm. And if you treat them wrong, they'll remember you for 3 generations or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or pigeons. I love pigeons. I feel so bad for pigeons.
I've eaten a pigeon.
Wow. The duality of man. But I do. I feel so bad for the wild pigeons because it's we brought them here to do a job and then just kind of abandon them.
It's because they couldn't do the damn job.
Yeah.
Ugh. I've also eaten quail. Very good.
Oh, quail
is really good. So
I've been quail hunting, so
I want to try a quail egg.
We actually found them at Jungle Gyms.
So good too.
I like quail eggs.
I've heard isn't it very proteiny?
Yes. It's it's more yolk than it is anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, we also saw an ostrich egg.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want to try ostrich eggs too.
Yeah. Make some scrambled ostrich eggs.
But it was $80 for one egg.
It's definitely something special.
No, I shouldn't be a falconer because if I was a falconer, I'd be setting my falcons after people. Be like, get him!
Oh.
Just don't send them after me because I am legit terrified of birds.
No, I would have it bring you your cup or something crazy.
You were saying? Or how about this one?
I want a bat. That's what I want. I really want a bat or a possum.
So cute.
Baby bats are cute. Adult bats, no.
Well, I would want one of them big fruit bats.
Oh, the flying
foxes? But you can't really you can't really take care of them without a huge aviary though.
Yeah. But they are so adorable.
I know, right? Oh my god. Or I wish it was legal for me to have a kinkajou.
I had a friend that had one in Florida.
Yeah?
You can have them with a license in Florida.
Oh wow!
And they had one. They had a lot of weird pets. They had a kinkajou. They had a chinchilla.
Yeah,
They used to bring the chinchilla to school.
Chinchillas are cute.
They're cute, but they can get sick really easily.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
that's why we stopped having them in my store.
We used to she would make us sanitize our hands and everything before we held it.
Mm-hmm. You got to take very careful care of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she was a member of 4A and stuff.
Same with honestly, even guinea pigs. Guinea pigs, you got to give them a whole bunch of vitamin C or they'll break out in ringworm because they don't have it.
I want a pair of ferrets. I love
ferrets. Very, very, very hard to take care of. You have to immediately desex the females,
and they are
unless you want them to breed.
Very social animals that you have to have 2 or more.
Mm-hmm.
But they will actually die from loneliness.
And Petland, they only had the one in the cage.
Yeah, well, the other one could have been back in the back, getting taken care of.
Well, what's crazy is if you get a female, unless you get a breeding pair, if you get females, you have to desex them or they'll die.
Yeah. Yeah, they're such cool animals, though.
Because they'll go into heat and can't get out.
Yeah, they're such cool animals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Yeah, it'll really hurt
You know what
them.
they love the most? Horrible. Spaghetti noodles. Noodles.
Yes, my aunt used to have my aunt used to have ferrets. They're really cute.
1 minute.
We're fucked.
we're definitely fucked.
So absolutely fucked.
Especially because Ben is not here. And Ben is usually the one that can pull a miracle out of his ass.
All right.
Rolling.
Yep.
"13 doors and 13 keys, locked in silence, lost in dreams, sigils carved in blood and bone, never speak their names alone. Lies are truth and shadows light, watchers wake but never fight. Dust and ash and names erased, the sigil burns where time's displaced. Turn the page, but read with care. What's forgotten waits down there. 13 marks upon the skin. Once it starts, it crawls within.
All right. So, as a recap for the last two sessions, well, first of all, if you're live, happy Ides of March. If you are listening to the recording or watching us later on, by the time this comes out, it will be past it, but happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
We are all in our best green St. Patty's Day. So happy St. Patty's Day for all you crazy Irish people. But so as a recap, the team arrived in the small Ohio town of Redwood Falls while investigating a strange late-night radio transmission connected to the local behavioral health clinic run by Dr. Elaine Morrow. At the radio station, they discovered the signal appeared every night at 2:13 a.m., and recordings from Morrow's sleep therapy sessions revealed something disturbing, a tone embedded in the audio that seemed to affect everyone who heard it. While investigating the clinic, the team listened to one of the tapes and immediately began experiencing strange events and nightmares tied to their pasts. Believing the radio signal might be the cause, they disabled the town's electrical grid with an EMP, shutting down the broadcast. But that's when things got worse. They discovered Sheriff Mercer dead outside the clinic, and when they followed clues to Dr. Mara's farmhouse, Kit sensed an ancient containment structure buried beneath the land itself. Inside the farmhouse, reality began to warp. Hallways stretched into impossible spaces. Red doors appeared that led to memories from their pasts, and the house itself began feeding on their fears and regrets. Eventually, the truth was revealed. The signal wasn't the source of the anomaly. It was holding something back. When the team shut down the power grid, they removed the modern layer of an ancient containment system that had been keeping something asleep for centuries. And by the end of the nights, they discovered they had never actually left the house. Inside the impossible corridors of the farmhouse, a grotesque entity finally revealed itself and whispered to each of them individually. It told them the signal had been a lullaby, and they had just turned it off. And that's where we pick up tonight. So the creature's footsteps fade across the warped floorboards as it moves toward the front door of the farmhouse. The sound is wrong in a way that none of you can quite place, each step carrying a soft, wet scrape as if something beneath its skin shifts with every movement. The door opens without a hand touching it. Cold night air spills into the hallway, carrying the smell of wet soil and old leaves from the surrounding fields. None of you can move. Your bodies remain locked exactly where the thing left you, muscles rigid and unresponsive, as if the house itself has wrapped invisible wires through your bones. The creature pauses in the doorway. For a long moment, it simply stands there, silhouetted against the darkness outside, its shape bending in ways that make it difficult to focus on where one limb ends and another begins. The farmhouse groans quietly around it, beams settling in the walls as though the structure itself recognizes the presence standing in its threshold. Then turns its head towards Vinny. The creature tilts slightly as it studies him. The shifting mass that serves as its face settles into something that almost resembles curiosity, though the resemblance is thin and wrong, like a mask that was never meant to imitate a human expression. It begins walking back down the hallway, each step slow and deliberate. The warped boards creak beneath it as it approaches Vinny, the air in the room growing heavier with every inch of distance it closes. When it finally stops in front of him, the thing leans forward slightly, bringing its twisted face close enough that Vinny can feel the faint warmth of breath against his ear. The voice does not come from its mouth. Instead, it arrives directly inside Vinny's skull, layered with overlapping whispers that slide across each other like broken radio transmissions. You. You all remain frozen, unable to turn your heads or shift your eyes, yet every one of you can feel the attention in the room narrowing down to a single point. To Vinny. The creature's head tilts as though listening to something only it can hear. Curious. You heard the lullaby and you still spoke back. One of its elongated limbs slowly rises and rests against Vinny's shoulder. The touch is gentle, almost careful, though the skin beneath its hand feels wrong, like layers of cold wax sliding against each other. You are interesting. And the creature straightens. For a moment, nothing happens. The farmhouse settles again into a tense silence broken only by the quiet hum of the distant night outside. Then, Vinny disappears. There's no flash of light, no dramatic movement. One moment he's standing there among you, frozen like the rest. The next, the space where he stood is simply empty. The creature turns back towards the door as though nothing unusual has occurred. Its shape folds slightly as it passes through the doorway and steps out into the darkness beyond the porch. The door slowly swings shut behind it. The latch clicks, and only then does the pressure holding your bodies in place finally release. Muscles scream with sudden returning movement as the invisible grip around you dissolves. The farmhouse is quiet again. The impossible corridor is still stretching deeper into the structure around you. But one thing's clear. Vinny is gone.
Well, fuck you too.
Okay. What the fuck are we supposed to do?
That's
that was really creepy.
Yeah, and now we're missing Vinny. As much as I don't like the man.
Go look for him. If we can find him. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I don't even know where to start at. Remind me when we get back to the base that I'm going to legitimately kill the handler. I don't care if I go to jail for this shit. No, I'm done.
I think you and me both on that one.
I don't have anything.
All right. Well,
I'm assuming my veil sense is just going completely haywire right now.
Well, the sound of the door latch settling echoes through the farmhouse like the final note of a long dying chord. Again, that spot where Vinny stood is empty. The hallway feels larger without him. The house seems to notice it too. The walls creaking softly as though something inside the structure has shifted its weight. And then something happens to Stephanie as one of our viewers has invoked a sigil.
fine.
At first, it feels like the heat beneath the skin of your left hand. A faint burning sensation spreads across your palm, sharp enough to make you instinctively curl your fingers. When you look down, the skin at the center of your palm has begun to glow faintly. Thin lines of pale red light pushing outward beneath the surface like veins of molten glass. The pattern resolves itself slowly. A sigil. The mark twists across your palm in a circular shape made from intersecting lines that resemble a broken spiral. The center of the mark pulses once, twice, as if responding to a distant heartbeat. The moment the sigil finishes forming, the farmhouse changes. Stephanie, your vision fractures. For a brief instant, the hallway around all of you becomes something else. The wallpaper rots away into bare wooden beams that are far older than the house should be. The floor beneath your feet flickers between clean boards and ancient stone set into the earth. Deep below the structure, something enormous shifts in the darkness beneath the land. Then your vision snaps back to normal. Stephanie, you stagger slightly as the sensation fades, though the sigil remains burned into your palm, glowing faintly like an ember beneath your skin. The rest of you don't understand what happened, but Stephanie, you do. The sigil has done two things. First, it's attuned you to the structure beneath the farmhouse. Somewhere below this house lies the ancient containment layer Kit sensed earlier. And now, Stephanie, you can feel its presence like a distant pressure in the back of your mind. When you concentrate, you can tell which direction the deeper structure lies. But the second effect is less comforting. Something down there felt the sigil activate. And now, faintly, almost like an echo inside your thoughts, something else is aware of you. The sigil in your palm dims slightly, settling into a dull red glow. This sigil is something new. Not prey, not exactly, more like a signal beacon inside the house. And somewhere beneath the farmhouse, something ancient has just begun to pay attention.
I go to Stephanie.
I like
okay?
clutch my head and I show Kit my palm.
Oh shit.
Oh crap.
Give me a moment.
What did it do?
Is that what you have to deal with all the time?
Yeah. I'm assuming you're seeing shit
there's a deeper structure under the house that we've got to get to.
Oh, you felt that? Yeah.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it.
Well,
and whatever down there knows about me now. Like, absolutely has its. Liz, whatever the fuck this did, it knows.
Oh.
Although,
great.
Well, this is gonna sound really fucking weird. I think I can guide us to that structure, though. I don't know how, but I can actually sense the way.
Okay. That is helpful. Should you be careful around this thing now that you're connected to it, though?
Oh, I probably should, but I kind of want to find out what the fuck happened to Vinny, and I kind of want to get this thing back to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, if the ritual is anything I noticed, it took 7 or more.
Well,
I just saw 7 people. And there's 3 of us.
Well, shit.
And we don't have ash. We have blood, but we don't have ash.
Oh.
I look around for a fireplace.
I pull out a cigarette and my lighter.
That's not going to be enough. We need to.
How much do we need?
The sigil that I saw was massive.
Well, anyway, I guess our only way out is down.
That's not comforting.
It seems so.
You think I don't know that? Hell, I got a fucking sigil burned onto my hand for I don't know what, or I don't know why. But
okay. Yeah. My problem is I don't have much. I only brought another flux capacitor rod, and that explosion is like huge.
And I have my baton. How many rounds of ammo do I have in my pistol?
12.
I kind of look and I'm like, I only have 12 rounds.
I pull out my own pistol. Well, that's 24.
I pull my pistol out.
Tiffany, aren't you supposed to be like heavily armed all the time?
I have my SMG, but I was told not to carry it around. So I have things that fit in my bag. I have my pistol. I have my flux capacitor rod. That's a big boom, but it's electric, so I don't know if it will help us get ash at all. I have my shock baton. I have some little trinkets that I might be able to try to throw something together, but I don't think I have anything that would really work. Gonna look through. I pull out my vacuum tube sigil amplifiers. Do I feel like that would help at all? Because the sigil thing was keeping this thing contained, right, before we mess with it?
Yes, but you also broke it.
Do I think that it would help if we were to do a ritual to reseal this thing?
Maybe.
I have these. They won't do anything on their own, but if we manage to like find a way to seal this thing back up, these will amplify the sigil that we make. I can kind of try to add some tech to the sigil.
Okay. First mission, we find Vinny. Second, we try to figure out how the fuck to seal this thing in.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Unfortunately, I have a feeling that Vinny's going to be closer to it than we want it to be.
Yeah, I just hope he's alive when we get there.
Yeah.
I guess you can lead the way so she can sense where it is.
All right. I'm going to...
All right. Stephanie, I follow Stephanie. And I have my gun out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'll have my baton out rather than my pistol, though, just in case it's something that comes out as close range.
So I'm going to pull out my gun, my flashlight, and since I'm taking point, head on to find the way down.
Okay. So, when you focus on the feeling, the walls around you begin to flicker at the edges of your perception. The wallpaper blurs and fades for an instant, revealing the older structure buried inside the house. Beneath the floorboards, the vision briefly exposes something that should not exist under a rural Ohio farmhouse. Stone. Old stone. Not poured foundation concrete, not modern reinforcement. Something far older. The image lasts only a second before the hallway snaps back into its normal shape. But you now know where to go. At the far end of the corridor, past the warped kitchen doorway and the crooked staircase leading upstairs, sits a narrow wooden door that none of you remember noticing before. The paint across its surface is cracked and peeling, and the handle is made from dull iron rather than cheap brass used everywhere else in the house. Stephanie, you feel the sigil in your palm grow warmer the closer you get to it. The door opens with a reluctant groan when pushed. Behind it waits a narrow staircase descending sharply into darkness. The air that rises from below is damp and cold, carrying the heavy smell of soil and old stone. The wooden steps are uneven and worn down from decades, perhaps centuries of use, though none of the town's records ever mention a cellar beneath the Morrow farmhouse. As you begin to descend, the temperature drops with every step. Halfway down the staircase, the construction of the house abruptly changes. The wooden beams of the farmhouse give way to rough stone walls packed tightly with mortar that has long since turned brittle and black with age. The staircase itself transitions from wood to carved stone steps that spiral deeper into the earth. The farmhouse was built on top of something intentional. The sigil in Stephanie's hand pulses as you reach the bottom of the stairwell. The glow briefly intensifies, casting thin red lines of light across the surrounding walls. The chamber below is not large, but its design immediately tells you that it was never meant to be a simple basement. A circular room has been carved into the earth, its walls reinforced with heavy stone blocks that appear far older than the farmhouse above. Strange markings have been etched into the stone at regular intervals, worn smooth in places as though they were carved centuries ago. At the center of the chamber lies a large circular depression cut into the floor. Metal rails run along the outer edge of the circle, forming a containment ring that appears to have been added much later than the surrounding stonework. Thick cables snake outward from the ring and disappear into the ceiling above, where they would have once connected to a modern electrical grid. The same grid you shut down with the EMP. Now, the cables hang loose and lifeless. The containment ring is dead. The air in the room vibrates faintly with a low tone that you can feel more than hear. It pulses slowly through the stone beneath your feet, like the echo of a heartbeat buried deep underground. Stephanie, the sigil flares suddenly, bright enough to now illuminate the chamber in dull crimson lights. And for just a fraction of a second, your vision shifts again. The depression in the center of the room is not empty. Something enormous lies coiled beneath the stone floor below it. Something that has been asleep here for a very, very long time. The vision vanishes. The chamber returns to normal, but the feeling remains. Whatever the radio signal has been holding back, you're now standing directly above it.
Do I get a sense of a way to reactivate the containment sigil?
No. Not without some kind of ritual.
Do I have any kind of... Because I'm seeing I have, like, radiation-triggered ward emitters, Tesla ray disruption rods. Is any of this stuff something I can make, like, a power source from so that we could tie it back in?
No.
Okay. I'd like to look around the room one more time and see if I can see, like, any papers, books, anything like that left behind.
Okay, make an observation or make a aptitude check.
Wow, I rolled horrible. Let's hope my wow, I don't think I'm getting this. Oh, wait, turn around to a 6. Okay, let's see. $13.
Okay, so you don't find anything like that, but I will say that circular depression in the center of the room draws everyone's attention, whether you want to look at it or not. The stone around it is worn smooth, and the metal rails forming the containment ring show clear signs of more recent modification. Bolts drilled into ancient stone, wiring added decades ago. The careful work of someone who understood that whatever had been sealed here long before modern times still needed watching. You realize Dr. Elaine Morrow didn't build this. She found it, and she tried to maintain it. As you study the chamber, the low vibration beneath the floor shifts slightly, becoming just loud enough to feel in your chest. The loose cables above the containment ring twitch faintly as if responding to an electrical current that should not exist anymore. Then the staircase behind you creaks. Slow footsteps descend the steps.
I immediately point my pistol to the steps.
Yeah, I'm pulling out my gun.
Yep. Flashlight.
As you all look, the figure emerges into the chamber and the light catches a face. Dr. Morrow. She looks exhausted. Her hair is loose and unkempt, dark circles hanging under her eyes like bruises from weeks without sleep. Dirt stains the sleeves of her lab coat, and one hand clutches a small portable recorder that still hums faintly with battery power. She freezes when she sees all of you standing in the chamber. I was hoping you'd leave town. Her voice echoing slightly against the walls. She walks slowly into the room, careful not to step into the containment ring. She glances at the loose cables overhead, the powerless equipment, and then back at you. You shut down the signal. Her eyes drift towards Stephanie's glowing palm before she looks away. I spent 10 years keeping that thing asleep. 10 years making sure Redwood Falls stayed quiet. No missing people, no nightmares spreading through town, no one hearing the tone long enough to ask questions. The signal wasn't hurting anyone. She taps the recorder in her hand. It was sedation. And she kneels beside this small metal panel set into the stone floor and pulls it open. Inside sits a simple battery-powered control unit connected to the larger containment system. Emergency power. Enough to restart part of the system and bring the tone back. But the cables feeding the containment ring are still severed from the EMP. Restarting the signal here won't restore the full containment field. It will only do one thing. It will put whatever is beneath the chamber back to sleep. She looks to you. If we restart it now, it'll calm down again. The tone will spread through the town just like before. Everyone will hear it in their sleep. No one will remember anything strange happening here tonight. But that's the catch. This thing doesn't sleep for free. The signal works because it feeds on dreams. Every night the people of this town give it just enough of their minds to keep it quiet. Their memories, their fears, their subconscious. They wake up fine in the morning, they go to work, they live their lives. But if we leave it awake, it won't just take dreams anymore. So, here's the reality. We can turn the lullaby back on and keep Redwood Falls safe at the cost of slowly feeding this thing pieces of the town's mind every night. Or we can leave it awake and figure out how to kill something that people centuries ago could only bury. And judging by what I just saw upstairs, it's already started hunting. So, she rests her hand on the emergency control switch, waiting to see what you decide. So, a moral dilemma of sorts.
Fuck you!
Do you put this thing to sleep, but slowly let it feed on the memories of the townspeople until eventually they have none? Or do you keep it awake, let the people of the town keep their memories, and you try to figure out how to kill this thing that nobody's been able to kill?
And
possibly let this thing loose.
I actually was wondering would it be possible to seal it inside something or someone to keep it contained better?
You don't know what it is. So you wouldn't really know. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody's been down there. There is a way down there, but nobody's been down there for centuries. Even Dr. Morrow doesn't know what it is. She just knows it needs to be contained. She just created the modern containment part. She basically amplified what had happened centuries ago.
I hate you.
This
is why we don't let Ben talk and give Kate ideas.
Well, and Tiffany speaks up, I could make a really, really big bomb. And we could try to blow it up.
How big are we talking?
Handler, how big do I think I could get a bomb?
I mean, it depends on what you put on it. And it depends on, is what you make going to be big enough for this thing? Are you going to need like a couple frag grenades, or are you going to need a 12-ton nuke to take this thing out? You don't know what it is.
Tiff might just send someone to the handler to see if we can get that nuke.
You don't know how big this thing is.
Shit.
It's almost like you need to go down there and see if you can see the thing.
God damn it. I look at the sigil on my hand. I'm going to do some recon. Real quick. See what we're dealing with.
Wait. I know that you know where it is, but it knows where you are. So if someone else sneaks up there, it might not know they're there, but it will know you're there.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I look at my sigil, I get the feeling it's waking up faster because I'm here.
What says if you don't go down and do recon, it's not going to wake up?
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that if me or Kit goes down there, we can look without waking it up, and then I can try to figure out if I can explode it.
Tiff, honestly, you're the best one to be able to help Dr. Morrow contain this thing. And if it's as big as I think it is, considering how big the original containment needed to be, I don't think you're going to be able to build a big enough bomb.
Okay, so we need to find a way to seal it and try to disrupt its food source.
Yes, without waking it up.
I have ward emitter.
I looked at Dr. Morrow. Have you tried to disrupt its food source? To starve it while it slept?
Well, we would have to. I mean, there's no way of doing that. It automatically takes the food source. We would have to make it so nobody slept ever.
Yeah, that shit don't go down too damn well.
There's no like disruption thing we could put in people's houses.
I mean, I think that would take a lot of time and engineering, and we don't even know how it does it.
Yeah. These things would be a lot easier if we knew what we were working with, but...
I go to the edge of the containment ring And I don't go over it, but I shine the sigil down it to see how far it goes down.
Well, the containment ring it's solid. There's access underneath it, like it's one solid piece of ground.
Okay.
That you're on. You actually have to like go down underneath.
Okay, so I have to find the way down to go.
Yeah.
Dr. Morrow, how long does your backup power work for that switch?
Long enough for us to get out of here and reestablish the power somewhere else.
But then we would be sacrificing the entire town.
Would it be long enough for me to go down there and see what to do?
I mean, theoretically, of course, but I don't. Your friends say you have a sigil that it can sense. I can't help but believe that sigil may wake it anyways.
Damn.
I can go down and look. But it's tracking us anywhere we go, so I mean, it knows where we are.
It knows where I am, definitely.
I go down.
Okay.
I light up a cigarette as Kit goes down.
I kind of like pat her on the shoulder. Good luck. We'll do what we can up here.
Just keep the thing from waking up.
All right. So I need a finesse check for stealth.
I should have gone down. I mean, I probably would because I have good finesse.
I mean, I don't have horrible finesse.
Have a sigil on your hand.
I don't have horrible finesse. It's just I'm a shitty roller.
I also have proficiency in finesse. Oh shit!
You're fucked.
I got 5, 5, and 1.
Ooh.
Damn.
Rerolled the 1 and got a 4, and my finesse is a 5.
Oh damn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you find a carved floor that slopes downward farther than it appears from above, revealing a narrow shaft cut directly into the bedrock beneath the farmhouse. Rusted iron rungs descend into darkness, the stone around them polished smooth from long use by people who once understood the purpose of this place. Dr. Marrow calls down from above, her voice echoing faintly against the stone walls as she warns you that some truths cannot be unseen once discovered. But you continue downward without hesitation. The vibration you felt upstairs grows stronger with every step, resonating through the ladder rungs and into the bones of your arms. It's not merely a sound or a tremor, but something deeper, a slow, oppressive pulse that feels less like an earthquake and more like a heartbeat of something immense resting beneath this world. After descending roughly 30 feet, the narrow shaft opens into a cavern so vast the beam of your light struggles to define its boundaries. The walls stretch outward and upward into darkness that swallows distance itself. At first glance, the floor of the cavern appears to be an underground lake, a dark, shifting expanse that reflects the lantern's glow in faint, distorted patterns. Yet as the light moves across the surface, the illusion dissolves. The water does not ripple like liquid, it folds. What lies below is not a pool or a body of fluid, but a sprawling mass of something that can only be described as anti-flesh, a substance that refuses every biological comparison the mind attempts to make. Its surface is bruised purple and black, mottled like ancient tissue starved of life, yet shot through with pulsing veins of pale gray light that flicker like the static glow of a dead television screen. These veins spread across the vast mass in branching networks that pulse slowly, each surge of dim light sending another vibration upward through the cavern floor. The creature's body does not possess a stable geometry. The surface rolls and shifts in vast plates that slide across one another like continents drifting through a slow geological catastrophe. Angles appear and vanish across its hide, folding inward on themselves in ways that violate the simple logic of three-dimensional space. Some surfaces bulge outward while simultaneously curving inward, creating shapes that seem to exist in multiple orientations at once. Spirals open across the mass that lead nowhere. Geometric patterns churn endlessly as if the creature's flesh is attempting to express mathematics that reality itself cannot sustain. You slowly realize that the cavern floor is not merely supporting the creature. The cavern is a shallow indentation across the outermost edge of its body. The farmhouse, the buried chamber, the ancient containment ring above all exist atop only a small portion of something whose true scale stretches far beyond the cavern's limits. What you see beneath your light is only the thin boundary where its incomprehensible bulk presses against the surface of the world. Near the center of the visible mass, the shifting plates part to reveal something that the mind instinctively wants to interpret as a head, though the concept quickly collapses under closer inspection. The structure is not an organ or a face, but a vast vortex embedded within the creature's flesh. Light does not reflect from its surface. Sound does not echo within it. Instead, the space appears to push perception away, creating the unsettling impression that nothing within that region has ever existed at all. In your head, you understand what this creature is. Almost like it's telling you its name. The Unmaul. Looking toward it does not produce the familiar sensation of staring into darkness. Instead, the mind experiences a sudden and profound absence, a feeling like a memory being erased before it is fully formed. You feel subtle pressure behind your eyes as if the very act of perception is being rejected by the void itself. From the surrounding mass rise enormous appendages that phase slowly in and out of existence. They resemble colossal worms made not of flesh but of fractured reality, their forms flickering between solid presence and transparent distortion as they coil through the cavern air. Some appear fully tangible for several seconds before fading partially into dimensions the human eye cannot follow. Others drift like half-formed shadows, their surfaces shifting with patterns that resemble overlapping layers of impossible geometry. Along the length of these limbs open countless structures that resemble eyes until one looks closer. Each has a mouth, though none of them share the same form. Some spiral inward with rings of crystalline teeth that rotate slowly as if grinding through invisible matter. Others resemble the pale human lips stretched across folds of alien tissue, whispering fragments of dying thoughts in voices that sound remembers. Still, others are little more than open wounds that leak thick, oily ichor that dissolves into nothingness before it reaches the ground. The cavern itself has begun to change in response to the creature's presence. Gravity wavers subtly, causing loose pebbles along the stone walls to drift slightly before settling again. The air grows unnaturally still. Not because the sound has stopped, but because it has been replaced by a crushing silence that presses against the ears like deep water. Your light beam lingers across the vast surface. A slow shift passes through the creature's body. One of the immense reality worm appendages coils slightly, its massive form drifting closer to the edge of the cavern where you stand. Along its length, a mouth forms that looks disturbingly human, pale lips pulling slowly apart as if testing the shape of speech. The voice that follows is quiet, but it does not travel through the air in the usual way. Instead, it arrives directly in your mind, layered with echoes that feel like fragments of someone else's final thoughts. The sound carries the weary curiosity of something that has existed far longer than the structures imprisoning it above. And in that moment, the maw of unbeing becomes aware that something small and temporary has entered its awareness.
I immediately go back up the steps and relay everything to everybody of what I just saw.
Okay, so we put it back the fuck to sleep.
We're not going to be able to kill this thing.
Shit.
And just for
yeah, we put that right the fuck back to sleep.
Yeah, there's no. There's no killing this.
Yeah, so I think we reestablish its little nighttime routine and keep looking to see if we can find a way to starve it.
How much psychological damage do I take from that shit?
None.
How the fuck do I not take any?
Okay, what do we need to do to get this night time to happen? Uh-oh.
I'm looking right at Dr. Morrow.
Don't ask me. I had this thing contained well. You're the ones that broke it.
Well, technically, the one that wanted to break it isn't here because he was kidnapped. Which Stephanie, if we find him, remind me that I'm going to put my foot up his ass.
You have to get in line.
Okay, so
we're only here because you went missing and we didn't know what the beep was. So people started asking questions. We got to fix what we broke.
Yeah. Which
So
means
let's
we gotta get that.
Back.
We gotta get that radio tower back working.
Mm-hmm.
But we already tried to leave the house and it wouldn't let us leave.
Well, maybe it will this time with the emergency sleep that she has set up.
Yeah, because when we tried to leave before, we didn't have that.
Was the sheriff dead before or after we got in the house?
Before. I think. Yeah, I think the sheriff's actually dead.
Because we went to check the clinic before we came to the house, and he was dead outside the clinic.
Yeah.
All right, well, turn the tone on, and we're going to go and try and fix the radio signal.
Well, we'll need to fix the power grid first.
Well,
I don't know much about
we can
that.
say that we want to help out here because I was sent by the government to make sure everything is up to code, so I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was sent for Dr. Marrow and to read her records.
You just might not
about the sleep study. So,
I mean, I'm here as
All right. So she kind of looks. All right. She motions to this narrow stone corridor carved in the far wall of the chamber. There's still a way to stabilize the system. The corridor had been difficult to notice before because it was like half hidden behind a collapsed stack of old containment equipment. But she points it out, and you can see it's pretty obvious. There's a heavy metal door sitting at the end of the short hall. Its surface is marked with faded warning symbols and a mechanical locking wheel that looks decades old. She says the signal broadcast from the radio station was only the final amplifier. And she begins to walk towards the door. The actual harmonic generator is down here. It runs independently from the town grid. If we can bring that back online, we can reactivate the lullaby long enough to calm it down. And she grabs the door and the mechanism groans as rusted gears begin to move. This room was designed as a failsafe. If something interrupted the surface broadcast, the chamber below could still be powered manually. And that door kind of swings inward. And you do see, if you look inside, there is a long rectangular room filled with these aging electrical machinery. Old vacuum tube panels line the walls. The glass cylinders clouded with dust. Thick copper cables snake across the floor into several large generator units built from heavy steel frames and analog dials. The entire room smells of oil and hot insulation and the dry metallic scent of equipment that has not been properly serviced in years. At the center of the room sits a large control console with a bank of switches and rotating frequency wheels. And above it hangs a diagram showing the containment chamber upstairs and the harmonic broadcast array that once fed the town's nightly signal. She steps inside first and moves towards the control console. If we can route emergency power through these generators, She's brushing dust off the panel. We can bring the harmonic tone back online, not at full strength, but enough to stabilize the creature until we figure out a permanent solution. As she gestures for you guys to step fully into the room.
Yeah, I come in and I immediately start looking for anything I can start fixing up.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stand out of the way, and you guys need extra hands. I'm here, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
So
you can hold the flashlight.
The moment the last of you crosses the threshold, Mara reaches behind the door and slams a large steel lever downward. The heavy metal door behind you slams shut with explosive force. A second later, the locking wheel spins violently on its own as thick internal bolts drive into the surrounding frame. The sound echoes through the machinery room like a gunshot. For a moment, the only sound is the hum of the old equipment. Then Mara's voice drifts through the intercom speaker mounted high on the wall. You've already interfered more than you realize. If you walk back out of this chamber right now, that thing downstairs will wake fully before sunrise. The harmonic generator in that room is the only way to restore the lullaby without reconnecting the entire town grid. If you want to leave this place alive, you're going to have to make it work. And if you're wondering why the door won't open, it's because the chamber was designed to prevent people from walking away from this problem. And you hear a final mechanical click echo through the room. The moment the generator starts producing the correct harmonic frequency, the door will unlock. You now stand inside the sealed machinery room filled with dead generators, analog controls, and a harmonic broadcast system that once kept the cosmic entity asleep beneath an Ohio farmhouse. The only way out is to make the lullaby work again as she traps you in there.
You bitch.
All right. I give Kit a flashlight. I turn it on. Hold this.
Is there light in the room, or is it just flashlights?
There's light.
Oh, there is light. Okay. Never mind about the flashlight then.
This, my friends, is a puzzle.
Oh, fuck you.
Great.
Right.
If you guys are wondering, we did have our Scarlet Tavern podcast for some nerdy stuff, and we brought up, we haven't had riddles in a while. We haven't had puzzles in a while. We haven't had moral dilemmas in a while. You can thank Ben for bringing all that up.
Mm-hmm. And he ain't even here to suffer with it.
Yeah.
Let's hear that puzzle.
Okay. So, you find three main components. The first is the frequency console. The large central console contains 4 rotating dials, each labeled with a frequency band. The dials currently spin freely because the EMP scrambled their calibration. Each dial has 5 settings, A, B, C, D, and E. But only one correct sequence recreates the lullaby tone. When the wrong combination is entered, the system produces a distorted resonance and the floor beneath you vibrates harder, a sign that the mall is stirring. Number 2, one of the old machines still works on battery power. Inside it is a recording from Mara's therapy sessions. When played, the tape produces fragments of patient speech layered over a faint tone that may hint at the order of frequencies. And 3, mounted above the console is the schematic of the containment system. The diagram shows 4 harmonic phases labeled. 1, grounding frequency, 2, induction frequency, 3, stabilization frequency, and 4, sedation frequency. Next to each phrase are cryptic notes written by Morrow. Start where the earth hums. Raise it slowly so it hears. Hold the tone steady. Let the mind fall asleep. You must set the dials in the correct order. So you must put the dial setting into, so the phase, like grounding phase, the dial has to be at a certain setting. So you can listen to, actually, everybody go ahead and make an aptitude check to look for the clues.
Oh god, that's bad. Okay. I'm gonna use a priority token to add a die.
same? Jesus fucking Christ.
God, I'm rolling so many ones.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you got?
17.
Okay.
God damn it.
I'm gonna recalculate this because I think we got like incredibly low.
Stephanie?
11.
Okay.
Okay. I got a whopping 10 because my rolls ended up being a 0 at about a half a plus 10.
Oh shit.
Okay. So as you study the equipment more carefully, several things begin to make sense. First, the 4 frequency dials on the console are not independent controls. They are phases of a single harmonic cycle. Each dial feeds into the next one in sequence. When the system runs correctly, the tone doesn't play all at once. It builds in stages like a waveform, assembling itself layer by layer. You also realize the dials aren't selecting random tones. Each dial represents a range of frequencies, and a letter corresponds to the specific ranges within that band. The lullaby signal was constructed as a rising harmonic pattern, not a single sustained tone. That means that you don't just need to guess letters. You need to reconstruct how the lullaby ramps up and settles into a stable pattern. Now, here's what you notice around the room. When you replay the therapy tape more carefully, you hear a patient describing the signal in a way that sounds like a metaphor, but it might actually be a description of the sequence. You hear, it starts low, like the earth humming under your feet. Then it rises a little, not sharp, just enough that you notice it. After that, it stays steady for a while. That's when you start to drift. Then it fades and everything goes quiet. You also look at the wall diagram. You notice 4 phrases are arranged in a loop rather than a strange line. Each phase flows into the next like a waveform: grounding, induction, stabilization, sedation. And you get the sense: grounding, lowest stable frequency; induction, gradual rise; stabilization, sustained tone; sedation, gentle drop. So the sequence must start low, rise, hold steady, then fall slightly. And the last thing you notice, each generator corresponds to one of 4 phases. When you inspect the power routing panels, you notice that the generators are wired in order, meaning the system physically processes the signal step by step. That means the order of the dials matter. You can't skip phases. So, again, as a whole wrap, the lullaby tone is constructed in 4 stages. The frequencies must progress logically. It must start low, it must rise, it must stabilize, and then gently fall into sedation. You also realize the letters on the dial represent relative pitch positions, not arbitrary codes.
Okay.
So basically, you need to find grounding tone as A, B, C, D, E. The rising induction tone, A, B, C, D, E. And it can obviously only be used once.
Okay. So am I able to like hear what it is as I'm like tuning it? Or is it as soon as I turn it into one, it's set?
No, you can hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna listen for a low tone on the first one. And I'm not gonna enter anything in, but I want to try to set it up to see if other people think that.
Okay, so what letter are you going?
I'm gonna try E first.
Okay.
Just to see if that is the high tone or the low tone. To me, I think that would be the low tone, but that might not be the case.
Okay. So when you select E, the generator does not produce a clean note. Instead, the speaker emits a warped, unstable tone that wavers between several frequencies at once. The sound begins as a mid-range hum, but immediately splits into overlapping layers that slide against each other like two radio stations bleeding through the same channel.
Okay. I'm going to switch it to D. What does D sound like?
D, when D is selected, the generator produces a slowly climbing frequency. So it's just above a grounding hum and gradually rises higher over several seconds.
Okay, so I think D is the second one that needs to be in the place. What does C sound like?
C produces a clear, sustained mid-range frequency tone. It's not especially loud, but it remains perfectly steady without fluctuation.
I think that might be the third one. What does B sound like?
B, it produces a deep, steady hum that resonates through the metal floor and the stone walls, and it's the lowest tone available.
Okay, and what does A sound like?
A produces a soft descending tone that slowly tapers off. It begins slightly higher and gently drops before dissolving into silence.
Okay, I want to put B first, D second, C, and then A, and see how that sounds.
Okay.
Compared to the thing that I have to reference it to. Now, in order for me to see how it sounds, do I have to like set it in, or can I kind of hear it?
Nope, you have to set it.
I'm gonna look at the other two. Does this seem right to you guys?
It's. I think that's as close as we're going to get.
Okay, I'm gonna set it in.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
Okay.
As sure as I'll get.
All right. So, as you adjust the dials, the first dial turns with a reluctant metallic grind until it settles firmly on B. The moment it locks into place, the generators behind the console produce a deep, resonant hum that spreads through the chamber floor. The tone is low enough that it seems to vibrate inside the ribs rather than your ears. For a brief moment, the stone wall feels steadier, as though the room itself recognizes the beginning of a familiar sequence. Your hand moves to the second dial. You rotate it past the other settings until it lands on D. The system responds immediately. The hum begins to climb, rising slowly and smoothly in pitch. The sound does not become harsh or piercing, but there's a clear upward motion in the tone, like a signal reaching out through layers of earth towards something waiting below. You turn the third dial. When C clicks into place, the rising tone stops climbing and settles into a perfectly even frequency. The sound holds steady, unwavering, the kind of precise mechanical tone only old analog systems ever produced. You finally reach for the last dial. The metal is cold beneath your fingertips as you rotate it slowly until the marker aligns with A. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the tone shifts. The steady note begins to drift downward in pitch, not sharply but gently, like the final line of a song sung to someone already half asleep. The generators behind the console roar fully to life as dormant capacitors charge and ancient vacuum tubes begin to glow with faint amber lights. The harmonic signal spreads outward through the chamber. The vibration beneath the floor changes immediately. What had been a restless, shifting pulse begins to slow, each movement stretching farther apart than the last. The immense presence below seems to sink deeper into stillness, its vast body responding instinctively to the familiar sequence. Stephanie, your sigil flares brightly for one final moment before the heat fades from your palm, the glowing lines dimming to a faint ember beneath the skin. Across the room, a heavy mechanical thunk echoes through the walls. The sealed door behind you unlocks. The bolts retract with a series of loud metallic clacks, followed by the slow rotation of the locking wheel as the mechanism releases. It's quiet for a moment. Then Dr. Mara's voice returns over the speaker. Well done. You've just put it back to sleep. But that doesn't mean it will stay that way.
I head out the room.
Same.
Yeah.
I start going up the stairs.
Back into the farmhouse?
I mean, that's the way out, right?
If you're sure that this thing is sealed.
Well, that was the
That was temporary.
I look at the containment ring on the ground and see if it's changed.
It's glowing temporarily.
All right. Now we need to figure out how to make sure it stays going.
Well, I think for that we'll have to find a ritual, and we don't know which one to do.
Well, maybe if we can get out of here, we can call the handler, get the information, and then do the ritual, or get people here to do the ritual, or yeah, I don't know.
All right. So the cables above the containment ring now carry a faint electrical glow as power moves through the system again. The shaft leading down to the cavern below is quiet, the oppressive pressure that had filled the space earlier replaced by something more subdued. Dr. Morrow does stand near the staircase leading back toward the farmhouse above. She hasn't moved far. Her posture's calm, almost relaxed now that the system is running again. You did exactly what needed to be done. Redwood Falls will sleep peacefully again tonight. As she steps closer, something about her feels different. Stephanie, your sigil begins to grow warm again. You're wondering why I locked you in the generator room. Because I needed to know if you could solve it. If you couldn't rebuild a lullaby, then none of you were leaving this house anyway. Her head turns towards the containment shaft. Her expression softens in a way that's difficult to describe. You saw it down there. Yes. Most people who see it understand the same thing eventually. That creature beneath us is older than any civilization that has ever stood on this continent. The people who built this chamber didn't imprison it. They buried themselves on top of it. Stephanie, your sigil burns hotter. The lullaby works because it resonates with something inside its mind. a harmonic pattern that convinces it to sleep. But signals don't maintain themselves. Someone has to keep the system stable. And for the first time, you notice something strange about her posture. Her head tilts slightly to the side, too still, too precise, almost as if she's listening to something you can't hear. She looks back to the shaft and smiles. You turn the lullaby back on, and you hear two voices echoing.
I tightened the grip on my pistol.
That was thoughtful. Stephanie, your sigil flares suddenly. The harmonic generators behind you flicker, and for the briefest moment, the lullaby tone wavers. Her head slowly turns back towards you. Her eyes are calm. When she speaks again, the voice that answers does not entirely belong to Dr. Morrow. It's been a very long time since something down there had a new mind. And that's where we're taking a break.
Fuck you.
So, my friends, we shall be right back. Please do not go anywhere. All right, so the generators hum steadily in the walls behind you. Their analog tubes glowing faintly amber as the harmonic signal continues to ripple through the foundation of the farmhouse. The stone beneath everyone's feet feels calmer now, the immense presence below settling into the slow rhythm of sleep once again. Dr. Morrow stands near the staircase still. No one moves for a few moments. Then, Tiffany, you hear something. First, it's easy to dismiss. Just a faint crackle in the generator room behind you. Old machines settling, vacuum tubes warming. But then it happens again. A sound buried inside the lullaby. Not a voice. More like an echo of someone strumming a guitar. The note is soft, almost lost in the harmonic tone vibrating through the chamber. If you weren't paying attention, you would miss it completely. But you know that sound. You know it immediately. Because when you were younger, sitting on the porch of your father's house in the mountains, Harold Wright used to play the same slow chords while feeding the squirrels in the yard. The lullaby hums again, and beneath it the guitar note repeats, just a fragment of a chord. You glance towards the generator room. No one else seems to notice. The others are watching Morrow, checking gear, thinking about how to leave the house, but you hear it again. 3 quiet notes. The exact same progression your father used to play. The sound seems to come from somewhere deeper in the chamber, drifting upward through the stone floor like a memory rising through water. For a moment, you feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Comfort. Not fear, not dread. Just the quiet familiarity of a sound you haven't heard since the night the mountain town burned. The lullaby continues humming. Then, very faintly, you hear something else layered inside the tone. Not words, just the distant sound of someone shifting in a chair. The quiet creak of a wooden porch board. The others still haven't noticed anything, but across the room, Dr. Mars slowly turns her head and watches you very carefully. I need you to make a resolve check, please.
Resolve is not my good spot. Okay.
We are fucked.
15.
Success. Barely. But the harmonic lullaby continues to vibrate through the stone beneath the chamber. The tone is steady and low, the kind of sound that slowly disappears into the background once the brain stops trying to follow it. The generators behind the walls maintain their rhythm with the quiet confidence of old machinery. Most of the room feels stable again, most of it. But you hear the guitar again. This time it's not just 3 notes. The sound drifts up through the stone like it's being carried along the same harmonic channel as the lullaby itself. The tone of the generators doesn't change, but layered below is now the soft, unmistakable sound of someone slowly picking a chord progression. It's not random. It's the same little pattern Harold used to play when he sat out on the porch feeding the squirrels. Simple rhythm he'd repeat while the animals gathered in the yard and you tinkered with whatever you had taken apart that week. The sound is clearer now. Just close enough that you can't pretend it's coincidence. For a moment, you glance toward the shaft leading down into the cavern. A lullaby hums steadily from the generators. The guitar continues beneath it. But you notice something else. A smell. Just faintly at first. Warm pine wood and mountain air. The kind of smell that comes from standing outside in the woods just after sunset, when the temperature drops and the earth starts breathing out the heat it held during the day. It shouldn't exist here. The containment chamber smells like damp stone and old machinery. But for you, the scent of the mountains is unmistakable. Nothing around the room has changed. But no one else seems to smell it. No one else seems to hear the music. But the guitar continues, slow and gentle. The way someone plays when they aren't performing for anyone, just passing time. Then, between 2 chords, you hear a chair creak. The sound is soft, like someone shifting their weight on an old wooden porch. Then a voice drifts faintly through the tone. Not even clear enough to make out words. Just the quiet murmur of someone speaking the way people do when they're alone and thinking out loud. The voice is older, roughened from years of construction dust and cigarettes. A voice you haven't heard since the night the town disappeared. Harold Wright's voice. For just a moment, just a fragment. Tiff. The generator hums steadily. The lullaby continues. Everything in the chamber looks exactly the same as it did a moment ago, except now you realize that there's something that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The sound isn't coming from the generators, and it's not coming from the cavern below. It's coming from behind you, very close. And you turn slightly, You notice Dr. Morrow standing only a few feet away now, watching you, studying your reaction with an expression that looks almost like curiosity. I need you to make another check, please.
Oh, God, that was a good roll. Okay, hang on. Okay.
I'm going to be okay.
24.
Success.
Which is crazy because I only have a +2 to resolve.
Success, but not a critical success. Because that one was an extreme check. But
it almost got her hook, line, and sinker.
Well, we have one more phase.
Yeah. Figured.
The lullaby continues to pulse through the stone like a slow heartbeat beneath the earth. Most of the room feels quiet again. The generators hum steadily behind the walls. The containment ring above the shafts carrying the soft vibration of the harmonic tone back into the structure of the farmhouse. To everyone else in the chamber, it sounds like what it is, an old analog system doing its job. But you hear something else. The guitar is no longer faint. The chords come clearly now, drifting through the harmonic signal with perfect familiarity. The rhythm is slow and easy, the way someone plays when they're sitting outside with nothing to prove and nowhere else to be. A few simple notes repeat in a loop, the exact pattern Harold Wright used to play, sitting on the porch of the mountain house, feeding squirrels out of his hand. The smell of pine grows stronger. It's no longer subtle. The damp stone smell of the chamber begins to fade around you as the scent of cool mountain air pushes through it. Fresh wood, earth, the faint trace of cigarette smoke drifting across a quiet yard in the evening. The lullaby hum fades slightly behind the sound. For a moment you blink, because the stone walls of the containment chamber are not there anymore. They're still there for everyone else, but not for you. The dim amber lights from the generator stretch and blur at the edges of your vision until they resemble the soft orange glow of sunset filtering through tall pine trees. The rough stone floor beneath your boots becomes the worn wood boards of a porch you haven't stood on since the night everything burned. A rocking chair creaks gently. The guitar stops. You look up. Harold Wright is sitting exactly where he always used to sit, leaning back in the old porch chair with the guitar resting loosely in his hands. The same worn flannel jackets, the same weathered hands that used to toss peanuts into the yard while he strummed the same simple chord progression over and over. He looks exactly the way you remember him. Not burned, not torn apart, not gone. Just sitting there like it's another quiet evening in the mountains. He smiles when he sees you. Not a big smile, just the small, tired one he used to give when you came out onto the porch with grease on your hands from whatever machine you'd taken apart that day. Tiff, he says softly. The voice is perfect. Every detail of it is perfect. You've been standing there long. For a moment, nothing else in the world exists. No containment chamber, no Division 13, no maw of unbeing sleeping beneath the earth. Just the porch, the trees, your father sitting there like nothing bad ever happened. He glances down at the guitar and idly strums another quiet chord. You know, I always wondered why you never came back. He looks up at you again. His expression doesn't carry anger or blame, just quiet curiosity. Did they tell you it wasn't your fault yet? The words land softly, but something deep inside you knows that sentence shouldn't exist, because no one ever said that. Not the agents who sealed the town, not Division 13, not anyone. Your father leans forward slightly in the chair. The wood creaks under his weight. You didn't know what that thing was. You were just building something, same as always. And he nods towards the yard. You didn't kill us, Tiff. The breeze moves through the pine trees. The smell of smoke drifts faintly through the air. You just opened a door. He tilts his head slightly, studying you the way he used to when you were trying to explain some complicated machine you'd built out of scrap parts. Then he gestures lazily toward the darkness beyond the tree line. You should see what's on the other side of it. The porch light flickers once. For the briefest moment, the pine forest behind him stretches farther than it should, much farther. The shadows beneath the trees shift with a slow, impossible geometry of something far larger than a forest. And his eyes change, only slightly. The warm brown fades into something deeper, something older. Something that has been watching your mind very carefully since the moment you first heard the lullaby. He smiles again, but this time the smile is not your father's. It misses you, the voice says gently. The guitar string snaps with a sharp metallic crack. The porch light dies, and suddenly you find yourself standing back in the containment chamber, the stone walls exactly where they were before. The generator still hum. The harmonic lullaby still vibrates through the floor. The others are standing exactly where they were a moment ago. No time appears to have passed, except now you're holding something in your hand you don't remember picking up. A small, rusted guitar pick. And across the chamber, Dr. Morrow is watching with a smile that suggests she knows exactly what you just saw. Please make your last resolve check.
$16.
Fail. Critical fail. I need you to take 4 breaking points.
Oh, God.
Right.
Oh, God.
I am now broken. All 4
And you
of them are full.
cannot move. Your mind is not your own anymore.
Oh, fuck!
All right. So
Wait, don't we have 8 breaking points total?
No. We have 4 in exposure, 4 in the other one.
4 in stability. This was stability.
Oh, okay. I was okay.
The lullaby continues humming through the stone walls of the containment chamber, steady and mechanical. The analog generators behind the walls maintaining the harmonic sequence Tiffany set only minutes earlier. The tone vibrates faintly through the floor, subtle enough that most people would stop noticing it after a while. But the room's not the same anymore. Something has begun paying attention. Stephanie, you feel it. At the beginning, it isn't anything dramatic, no voices, no visions, just a strange tension setting and settling into the muscles of your shoulders and spine. The same feeling you used to get when something wasn't right during patrol. The kind of instinct that kept soldiers alive. The chamber looks calm. A little too calm. Your training kicks in automatically. Your eyes move around the room, scanning corners, shadows, movement, the containment ring, the shaft, the stairs, Dr. Morrow standing near the steps. Everything appears exactly where it should be, but the feeling doesn't go away. Then the sigil in your palm warms slightly. Not the burning flare it produced earlier, just heat, like skin touching something recently powered off. You survived something once that the Army buried under layers of classification and paperwork. Something during your first deployment that nobody in the official record will ever describe out loud. The feeling in your hand is the same. The quiet signal your body learned to recognize before your mind had time to catch up. Something's wrong. You glance down at the sigil. The faint lines glow dimly under the skin of your palm. the symbol pulsing slowly in time with the harmonic lullaby vibrating through the stone. And then the tone shifts, only slightly. Not enough that anyone else might notice, but your ears were trained to hear small changes in background noise during long nights overseas. Engines, wind, distant artillery, the difference between silence and the moment just before something explodes. The lullaby tone doesn't stop, but something joins it. Another frequency, lower and deeper. The sound reminds you immediately of something you heard once during that classified incident years ago. The hum of equipment running in a sealed facility where the air smelled like antiseptic and burned wiring. The kind of place where nobody spoke above a whisper. Where people watched things through reinforced glass and pretend they understood what they were looking at. You blink. The containment chamber flickers. For a moment, the stone walls around this group shifts into something else. It's not a cavern. It's a concrete corridor. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, military markings on the wall, men in uniform speaking urgently down the hall. Then the image snaps away. The stone chamber returns, the generators hum steadily. Nobody else seems to have noticed. But you realize something that makes the muscles in your neck tighten. You know this hallway. Not because you've seen it before, but because you've dreamed about it for years. The hallway where the thing from your first deployment was kept. The thing the army told you never existed. The sigil in your palm pulses again, and for the briefest moment, you hear something layered beneath the harmonic lullaby. A voice. Male, professional, reading from the clipboard. Subject Miller showing unusual neurological resilience. The sound fades immediately. The chamber returns to its quiet hum, but you know something you weren't meant to remember. The classified event you survived, someone was studying it, and somehow something down below just accessed the memory. I need you to make a resolve check, please.
Yep. Oh, that's great.
I'm fucking terrified right now.
$19.
Success. However, you feel the sigil warm again. It's not hot, not painful. The faint lines beneath the skin of your palm pulse once, slowly, and the sensation travels up through the tendons of your wrist like a quiet electrical signal moving through nerves that were never meant to carry it. Your training kicks in before you realize you're reacting. Your shoulders square, your posture shifts, your eyes begin scanning the room again automatically. The same instinct that carried you through patrols and deployments, the quiet part of your brain that always looked for the threat no one else had noticed yet. And then you hear it. It's not a whisper, it's a command. Hold position. The voice comes from somewhere behind you, sharp and calm. Exactly the tone a squad leader uses when something dangerous is moving nearby. And as you turn, no one is there. The containment chamber is exactly the same it was a second ago. Your jaw tightens slightly because the voice didn't come from the room. It came from memory. And the sigil pulses again. The chamber flickers. This time the vision holds longer. The stone walls blur at the edges and slowly resolve into something sterile and industrial. The air shifts from damp stone to the sharp chemical scent of antiseptic and machine oil. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting harsh, white illumination across smooth concrete walls. You know this place, even if you were never supposed to remember it. A military research facility. One of the black sites that officially never existed. Your boots move across the concrete floor, except you haven't moved. You're still standing in the containment chamber, but the hallway stretches in front of you now. Doors with reinforced glass panels, observation windows, men in uniform you recognize from another life. No one acknowledges you. They move around you as if you're not there, and then you see it. A large observation window at the end of the hall. Inside the room beyond it, something moves. Something massive. Not the mall. Something else. Something you recognize immediately, even though the details of that day were buried under years of classified reports and forced silence. The thing from your first deployment. The thing that should have killed everyone inside that facility. The reason Division 13 found you in the first place. The memory tightens around you like a vice, and you hear your own voice. Younger, panicked. Sir, that containment seal isn't... The glass window explodes outward. The vision snaps violently back to the containment chamber. Stone walls. Generators humming. The lullaby vibrating through the floor. You're exactly where you were standing, but your breathing is slightly heavier now, and the sigil in your palm is glowing brighter, reacting because the lullaby tone shifts again, and now you understand something that chills you more than the vision did. The harmonic frequency Tiffany rebuilt, it's almost identical to the containment resonance they used in that facility. Not the same, but close enough that something buried in your memory recognizes the pattern, which means something else might recognize it too. Across the chamber, Dr. Morrow watches you again, very carefully, as if she's been waiting to see how much you remember. Make another resolve, please.
Bastard.
$29.
Success.
Mm-hmm.
But the sigil in your palm is hot now. Not burning yet, but it's definitely alive. Each pulse of the lullaby seems to travel directly through the symbol etched beneath your skin, as if the harmonic frequency is using your body as an antenna. The sensation crawls up through your wrist and forearm in small electrical waves. The same kind of tingling you felt the moment Division 13 first ran diagnostics on you after the classified incident overseas. Your breathing slows without realizing it. Your posture straightens. The containment chamber begins to fade again, but this time the vision doesn't flicker. It replaces the room. The stone walls dissolve into smooth gray concrete. The generator hum becomes the familiar drone of fluorescent lights and ventilation systems echoing through an underground military facility. The smell of damp earth disappears, replaced by antiseptic and burned circuitry. Stephanie knows exactly where she is. Or at least where this memory came from. The hallway stretches ahead of you exactly as it did that day. Reinforced doors, observation windows, military personnel rushing between stations with tense urgency in their voices. Only this time, no one acknowledges you. You move forward slowly, boots echoing against the concrete. Except your boots aren't moving. In the containment chamber, your body hasn't shifted an inch, but the hallway continues unfolding in front of you. At the far end of the corridor stands the reinforced observation window you saw before. Behind it, the containment chamber. The thing they were studying, the thing that wasn't supposed to move, the thing that did. Inside the room beyond the glass, technicians are shouting over each other. Monitors flicker with unreadable telemetry. Red warning lights flash along the ceiling. You hear the voices clearly now. Containment field destabilizing. We're losing the harmonic lock. Where the hell is Miller? The name hits like a punch to the ribs. Because you remember this part. A moment before everything went wrong. But something is different this time. Inside the containment room, the thing in the center of the chamber is not the creature from that deployment. It's them all. Not fully. Not the vast impossible form Kit saw below. Just a fragment of it pressing into reality like a shadow trying to become solid. A twisting mass of anti-flesh pressing against the containment field. Its impossible geometry folding inward on itself in shapes the human mind struggles to track. And then something inside the chamber turns. The fragment of them all shifts. Not towards the technicians. Towards the observation window. Towards you. The unmaw opens. You don't see darkness. You experience something worse. The sudden overwhelming realization that the thing on the other side of the glass recognizes you. Not from this moment, from before. From that deployment. From the moment you survived something that everyone else in the room should have died from. The memory begins collapsing around you. Voices shouting, containment alarms screaming, the harmonic resonance failing. And then the moment you have never been able to remember clearly, the thing behind the glass speaking. Not out loud, but inside your mind. The voice you hear now is the same one you heard then. And it clicks that you've heard it recently. You survived, it says gently. The containment chamber shakes violently. Glass fractures across the observation window. In the present, the sigil in Stephanie's palm suddenly flares bright enough to illuminate the containment chamber in red lights. But you don't see the chamber anymore. You're still standing in that hallway, still watching the glass crack, still hearing the alarms. And now you understand something that Division 13 never told you. The classified incident you survived wasn't an attack. It was a test. The voice speaks again. Soft. You are the one who heard me. The observation window shatters. The memory collapses instantly. The containment chamber snaps back into existence around you. Stone walls. Generator hum. The harmonic lullaby vibrating through the floor. Kit, Tiffany, Dr. Morrow, all exactly where they were. Only Stephanie, you're different because the sigil in your palm is no longer faintly glowing. It's burning. And for just a second before the light fades again, the symbol beneath your skin shifts, rearranging itself into something older. Something the containment markings carved into the stone walls seem to recognize. Across the chamber, Dr. Morrow watches you with understanding. Now, you remember. Make another resolve, please.
Yep.
Why must you torture us?
Point of the game.
$21.
Fail.
God damn it, no! Come on!
This was a hard one. The last one is the worst.
Oh.
What's higher than extreme? Because extreme is 20.
Uh-huh.
So what do we have to fucking hit?
This one's high. It amped up each time. And it actually amps up more if you succeed. Because he's hitting harder to try and get you worse.
So I might actually be the only one that fucking survives because I roll like shit.
Who knows? Stephanie, that's 3 breaking points. Because it was not a critical failure. So you are not completely broken.
Okay.
But your mind is fucked. You are like drooling on yourself right now.
Well, just don't crit fail.
I'm fucked.
Yeah, the crit fail makes it worse. But that was just a plain failure.
I'm fucked.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's bad.
Kit, you're the only one who notices the next change. For you, it begins with silence. Not the quiet of the chamber, something else. You spent most of your life listening carefully to the spaces between words. As a therapist, you learned early that what people don't say usually matters more than what they do. You learned to sit in rooms where grief, fear, and panic filled the air and slowly pulled order out of chaos with nothing more than patience and a steady voice. But now the silence around you feels wrong. The generators hum, the lullaby resonates. You breathe, Stephanie breathes heavily across the chamber. Tiffany shifts her weight slightly. Dr. Marrow stands quietly by the stairs, yet beneath all of it, you notice a strange absence. The sound of the lullaby stops reaching you. It's still playing. You can see the generators working. The vibration still travels through the floor. But the tone itself seems to slip past your ears, as if your mind has quietly stepped out of phase with it. You blink. Your eyes move across the containment chamber. Everything looks exactly the same, but something about the room suddenly feels familiar. Not because you'd been here for the last hour, but because you've seen something like this before. The shape of the stone, the containment markings carved into the walls, the faint rhythm pulsing beneath the floor. For just a moment, the chamber reminds you of something you had spent years trying not to think about. A different room, a different facility, a tape recorder sitting on a desk, patients speaking in identical cadences, repeating the same phrases in the same rhythm like a song that none of them remember learning. The memory drifts quietly into your mind. Not as a flash, not as a hallucination, but a thought. One you haven't allowed yourself to examine in a long time. You realize something unsettling. The harmonic lullaby vibrating through the stone has the same cadence as the speech patterns those patients used. The same slow rhythm, the same pattern of pauses, almost like language. You focus on the generators again. The sound still quite doesn't reach you, but if you watch the flicker of the vacuum tubes carefully, you begin to notice something. The pulses of the light follow a repeating pattern. Long, short, long, pause, short, pause. Your mind immediately starts translating the rhythm without conscious effort. Years of therapy sessions taught you how to hear patterns in speech, repetition, and tone, the subtle signals hidden beneath the surface of language. And suddenly you realize something deeply unsettling. The lullaby is not just a harmonic signal meant to calm the creature beneath the earth. It's structured communication. Not words, but something close. A rhythm meant to be interpreted. Your stomach tightens slightly because the pattern of the pulses reminds you of something you had spent years refusing to do. Listening to a particular cassette tape you keep hidden away. A recording you refuse to play because you know what might happen if you hear it again. You look down at your hands. They feel steady, but the thought arrives quietly, uninvited. What if the lullaby isn't putting it to sleep? What if it's answering something? Across the chamber, Dr. Morrow slowly shifts her gaze, and for the first time since you restarted the generators, she looks directly at you. not with curiosity or amusement, but with recognition. As if the person you had been waiting for, that she had been waiting for to notice the pattern, just finally did. Make a resolve check.
So when I want to roll like shit, I can't.
Critical success.
Why am I suddenly terrified of having that crit?
Cool. So, everyone else in the room can hear the tone. Everyone except for you. For you, the sound has shifted into something else entirely. At first, it still resembles a signal, a pattern of long pulses and short ones, like the structure of speech stripped down to its most basic rhythm. The moment you noticed it earlier, your mind began doing what it has always done best, listening for structure inside chaos. Now that you're aware of it, you can't stop hearing the pattern. The pulses of the light from the generator tubes begin to align themselves with the rhythm in your mind. Long, short pause. Long, short pause. It's not Morse code. It's too slow, too deliberate. It sounds like someone's speaking in a cadence that refuses to fully become language. The familiarity of the pattern makes your chest tighten because you heard something like this before, years ago, in a room where the air smelled like stale coffee and tape reels turning too long without rest. Patients sitting in chairs across from your desk, speaking in the same slow rhythm while insisting they didn't know why they were saying those words. You blink and the containment chamber flickers. The stone walls around you stretch slightly taller. The generator lights brighten into the glow of fluorescent tubes. The scent of damp earth fades, replaced by paper files and the faint electrical heat of old cassette equipment. You're sitting at your desk, not standing in the chamber. The room is exactly the way you remember it from that year. The same cluttered office with a small tape recorder resting beside your notebook. The same row of patient chairs facing your desk. The tape recorder's already running. You can hear the quiet click of the reel turning. Across from you sits a man you vaguely remember treating. His eyes are unfocused, his posture slack. When he speaks, his voice carries the same slow cadence that the generators are pulsing now. I hear it when I sleep. The tape recorder continues spinning. The man's voice repeats the rhythm. It's not words. You feel the familiar tightening in your chest, because this was a session where something changed. The one you later described in the report as fatigue, suggestion, mass hysteria, anything but the truth. But now the memory refuses to stay inside that neat explanation you signed your name to. The patient leans forward in his chair. His eyes focus on you for the first time, and suddenly the rhythm of his speech matches the pulses of the generators perfectly. You can hear it too. The tape recorder whirs softly beside you. You glance down at it. The reels are spinning backwards, not forward. The voice coming from the tape is not the patient's voice anymore. It's your own. The recording plays in reverse for a moment before stabilizing. Then the tape begins speaking clearly. Your voice, older, calmer. Do not listen to the pattern. The tape clicks. A second later, it continues. If you hear the rhythm long enough, your mind begins completing it. The patient across the desk slowly tilts his head. His mouth opens again, but this time the voice that comes out does not belong to him. It carries the same deep resonance that echoes beneath the stone floor of the containment chamber. Because your mind already knows the rest. The tape recorder snaps loudly. The office disappears. You're standing back in the containment chamber. The generators hum. The lullaby continues vibrating through the stone, only now the pattern is impossible for you to ignore. The pulses of the harmonic tone are no longer abstract. Your brain has already begun filling in the missing pieces, completing the rhythm, turning the signal into something dangerously close to language, and now you understand something that makes your stomach drop. The lullaby isn't just soothing the thing beneath the earth. It's teaching it how human thought works. Across the chamber, Dr. Morrow is watching you again, this time with quiet satisfaction, as if the moment you realize what the signal truly was, something below the chamber learned something too.
Fuck you.
Make your next check.
Fuck. What the fuck?
Gotta love this system.
29.
Critical success. Let's hope you can do it for the third time. So, Kit, the pattern just won't stop. Now that your mind recognized that the rhythm of the lullaby has become impossible to ignore, the pulses of the generators, the flicker of the tubes, the vibration in the floor, all of it locks into a cadence that your brain keeps translating whether you want it to or not. Long, short pause. Your therapist's mind does what it has always done. It listens for meaning, it searches for structure, and the moment your brain completes a pattern once, it cannot unhear it again. The lullaby stops sounding like a tone. It begins to sound like someone thinking out loud. You try to focus on the chamber, on the present moment, on the grounding techniques you relied on for years to keep yourself stable. Breathing exercises, physical awareness, counting objects in the room, the kind of simple mental anchors that help a mind resist panic or disassociation. And for a few seconds, it works. Then the pattern shifts, just slightly. The harmonic pulses stretch into a new rhythm, one your brain immediately recognizes from somewhere deeper than conscious memory. It's the same cadence your patients used when they spoke during those sessions in 1981. The same rhythm that repeated through dozens of case files. The same pattern you heard on the tape you refused to play again. And suddenly you understand something that shatters the last bit of distance you had been maintaining from that memory. The patients weren't repeating the same pattern by coincidence. They were all hearing the same signal, the same lullaby. The realization lands like a cold weight on your chest. Your office appears around you again. Not a flicker this time, not a vision layered over reality. The containment chamber simply isn't there anymore. Your desk, the tape recorder, the file folders stacked neatly beside your notebook. Across from you sits the same patient, the one from the recording, only now you notice something you didn't remember before. The tape recorder on your desk is already playing. The reel spins slowly as your own voice emerges from the speaker, older, calmer, recorded sometime after that session. Kit, The recording says gently. The patient across the desk smiles faintly. The tape continues. You knew something was wrong that day. You saw the pattern forming in their speech, but you signed the report anyway. The patient tilts his head slightly. You told yourself you could fix it later. The office lights dim slightly. The patient leans forward in his chair. The voice that emerges from his mouth is no longer his. You called it hysteria. You called it suggestion. But you heard the signal too. The tape stops. The office vanishes. You're standing back in the containment chamber. Stone walls, generators humming, the lullaby vibrating through the floor. Nothing appears different except for one thing. The pattern no longer feels external to your mind because now that your brain has completed the rhythm once, it continues automatically. The lullaby keeps playing inside your thoughts. A quiet background pattern you cannot stop hearing, the same rhythm your patients once repeated in their speech, same rhythm you buried under a falsified report, the same rhythm that is moved from the generators into your own mind. Across the chamber, Dr. Merrow watches you carefully, with a quiet understanding of someone who has seen this happen before. You're starting to hear it, aren't you? The lullaby hums beneath a stone, and somewhere far below the chamber, something enormous shifts slightly in its sleep. Because the signal has been broadcasting into the world for centuries, has finally found another mind capable of answering it.
Oh, shit.
Please roll again.
$29 again.
Fail.
What?
I knew it had to be 30.
Oh.
Fail. You take 3 breaking points.
Fuck you. Which one? Stability or?
Stability. It had to be 30.
I missed it by fucking 1.
Yep. Wouldn't you rather fail by a lot?
And the fact that you could have used a priority token to add 1.
Yeah, but it's too late because you already said it.
I mean, I'm not dead, or I can still think, right?
Kind of. You're like licking windows right now with a helmet on.
You're going to have a long road to recovery, and Tiffany ain't recovering.
So, the harmonic lullaby continues humming through the containment chamber, steady and mechanical. The generators glow dimly behind the walls, the tone vibrating through the stone foundation of the farmhouse and out into the soil of Redwood Falls. The chamber's quiet. Then something moves on the staircase. A slow step. Leather shoes scraping softly against the stone. Every head in the room turns. A figure appears at the top of the stairs leading down from the farmhouse. It's Vinny. He stands there in the doorway, perfectly still, one hand resting loosely on the rail. At first glance, he looks normal. Same tailored suit, same slick black hair, same confident posture he always carries like armor. But something about him feels wrong, like spatially. Like the space around him doesn't quite agree with his presence. Dr. Morrow notices at first her head tilts slightly. That's interesting. Vinny slowly walks down the steps into the chamber. His shoes echo across the stone floor as he approaches the group. The movement is steady, almost relaxed, but there's something mechanical about it, like someone imitating the way a human walks. He stops a few feet away. His brown eyes drift slowly across the room. First Tiffany, then Stephanie, then Kit. Finally, he smiles. It's the same crooked grin he used to flash when he cracked jokes during operations. You miss me. The voice is his, exactly his, but the tone underneath it carries a faint distortion, like a radio transmission bleeding through another channel. Stephanie's sigil immediately burns hot. Kit, you hear the lullaby pattern change. Tiffany, even almost brainless, you notice something else. Vinny, his shadow doesn't match his movements. Behind him on the stone wall, the shadow stretches longer than it should, its shape bending at the impossible angles. Dr. Morrow watches him carefully. Fascinating. Vinny takes another step forward, then he stops. His head tilts slightly to one side. Funny thing about doors, they go both ways. The words hang in the air, then his body jerks. Not violently, just a small movement like a muscle twitch. His smile falters. For the first time, something human breaks through his expression. It's confusion. The hell? His hand moves towards his chest. Another twitch hits him, this time harder. His shoulders jerk violently as something moves beneath the skin of his neck. Not like a parasite, more like pressure from the inside. The maw doesn't feed on bodies, it feeds on identity. Vinny staggers. No. Oh, no. His voice cracks. Something beneath the skin shifts again, distorting the muscles along his jaw. He grabs the side of his head. The next words that come out, half laughing, half panicked. Hey, that ain't funny. Then the laughter stops. His body locks. Every muscle goes rigid. The chamber falls silent except for the hum of the generators. Then Vinny begins speaking again, but this time his voice carries two tones. His. It's something deeper. I wonder what kind of mind survives a cult ritual. Vinny's eyes widen. No, get out of my... His spine arches suddenly, the movement unnatural and painful. The thing inside him continues speaking. You adapt well. Vinny's breathing becomes ragged. The confident mob enforcer who once survived impossible odds now looks like a man fighting something inside his own skull. You're not taking me. His hand fumbles toward the 38 at his side. The maw reacts instantly. His arm snaps upward violently, the motion not his own. The gun fires. The shot echoes through the chamber. The bullet punches harmlessly into the stone wall. Vinny's body convulses again. The second voice continues calmly. You're already taken. Then something inside him pulls. Vinny screams. not from physical pain, from something worse. Memories, identity, everything that made him Vinny the ghost begins unraveling inside his mind. His body collapses to his knees. I can't remember. His voice is weak. My father's face. Stephanie, your sigil burns like a brand. Kit, you hear the lullaby break rhythm. Tiffany, you see something horrifying. The shadow behind Vinny is no longer resembles a human shape. The mall speaks through him one final time. This one fought harder than the others. Then the pressure inside him suddenly releases. Vinny collapses forward onto the stone floor. Still. Silence. The chamber returns to quiet. For several seconds, no one moves. Dr. Morrow kneels beside the body. She studies him carefully. Well, that's new. And because of that, I need everyone to make another resolve check. Bastard. Stephanie, what do you got?
15.
Fail.
Yep.
So that's another breakpoint. Instability.
I'm fully broken.
What do you got?
24.
Fail. So everybody has 4 points.
I think Tiff just starts banging her head into the wall. So the harmonic lullaby continues to hum through the farmhouse long after the last of the struggle ends. The generators maintain their rhythm with the stubborn persistence of old machinery, vacuum tubes glowing dimly behind the walls as the analog system pushes the containment tone out into the earth. The stone foundation of the house vibrates faintly, the signal carrying through soil and rock down into the cavern where the vast mass of the Maw of Unbeing rests against the underside of reality. For a few quiet minutes, it almost feels like the system works. The tone is steady. The creature below is calm. The chamber is silent, but the silence is not the kind that follows victory. It's the silence that follows understanding. Tiffany is the first to stop resisting. The guitar pick in her hand falls softly to the stone floor as the last of the tension drains from her shoulders. The memories the mall showed her no longer feel like attacks.
They feel like corrections, adjustments to a story that was never quite accurate in the first place. The guilt she carried for years over what happened in the mountain town loosens its grip as if something inside her mind rearranges the meaning of that night. She did not destroy that town. She opened a door, and doors are meant to be used. Tiffany, your eyes lift slowly towards the containment shaft. The lullaby hums through the stone. The pattern feels beautiful now. It's logical and elegant. The same curiosity that drove you to build impossible machines out of scrap metal begins turning inward, your mind exploring the vast presence beneath the earth with the same fascination you once reserved for engines and circuitry. For the first time since you were recruited by Division 13, you feel like you have finally built something that worked exactly the way it was meant to. Across the chamber, Stephanie, your breathing steadies. The sigil in your palm no longer burns. The symbol has finished changing. The lines beneath your skin now resemble something older than the markings carved into the stone walls around them. A geometric structure that seems to exist slightly outside the rules of normal space. The heat fades completely as your muscles relax, the tension that once defined your military posture dissolving into a calm that no battlefield ever allowed her to feel. The memory of that classified deployment settles into place. The containment breach, the screaming alarms, the moments that Tiffany survived something that everyone else in that facility should have died from. Tiffany, you understand it now. You were never meant to die. You were meant to listen. You straighten slightly as the lullaby resonates through your bones. The discipline the army forged inside you does not vanish. It simply finds a new chain of command. The Maul doesn't give orders. It provides clarity. And clarity is something soldiers understand. Kit. You stand quietly near the containment ring, your head tilted slightly as the harmonic pattern continues flowing through the generators. The rhythm no longer frightens you. The structure of the signal unfolds naturally inside your thoughts now. The same analytical instincts you once used to guide patients through their fears, now working in reverse. You listen, you interpret, and slowly you begin completing the patterns before the generators even produce them. For decades, you believed understanding anomalies meant containing them. But the Maul has shown you something deeper. Understanding was always participation. Your routines, your notes, your careful structure of therapy sessions, those habits were never defenses against chaos. They were practice. Preparation for listening to something much older than the human mind. You close your eyes briefly as the lullaby pulses through the chamber. The rhythm feels like language now, not threatening or invasive, just conversation. Nearby, Vinny's body lies where it collapsed on the stone floor. For a long moment, it does not move. Then slowly, Vincent Moretti inhales. The breath is shallow, mechanical. The man who once carried the reputation of Vinny the Ghost pushes himself up from the floor with slow, deliberate movements. His tailored suit is rumpled now, streaked with dust from the containment chamber, but his posture returns to its familiar shape as he stands. His brown eyes scan the room. For a moment, they seem unfocused. Then recognition settles into them. Not the recognition of a man seeing his teammates. The recognition of something reviewing a set of useful memories. Vincent Moretti was always good at adapting. That part of him remains. Only now the thing adapting is much larger than the man who once ran numbers for the Gambino family. Across the chamber, Dr. Elaine Mara watches the four of you quietly. She doesn't look surprised, only relieved. For years, she had carried the burden of maintaining the lullaby alone, carefully calibrating the harmonic broadcast to keep them all calm without allowing it to fully awaken. She knew the signal was never truly containment. It was communication, and communication requires listeners. Now, she's no longer alone. You see it now. The generators hum. The harmonic patterns shift slightly. And the 4 former operatives of Division 13 stand quietly within the containment chamber, their minds now synchronized with the signal flowing into the earth beneath Redwood Falls. The mall sleeps, but it's no longer alone. Weeks later, Division 13 files the official report. Redwood Falls is declared the site of a catastrophic structural collapse following an electrical incident at the local radio station. Federal authorities cordon off the region under the pretense of environmental contamination. The farmhouse and the surrounding land disappear beneath a controlled demolition that leaves the area looking like nothing more than a sinkhole swallowed by a forest. Recovery teams are deployed. None of them return. The incident event is eventually classified beyond the reach of most of the agency. Only a handful of directors ever see the file addendum attached to the case file. Operation Redwood, status containment lost. Satellite imaging of the region begins showing unusual electromagnetic interference beneath the forest canopy. Audio equipment placed within 10 miles of the former town site occasionally records a low harmonic tone buried beneath background noise. The pattern repeats every night at 2:13 a.m. Analysts cannot determine its source, but those who listen to the recordings long enough sometimes notice something strange within the signal. 4 additional rhythms layered beneath the primary tone. 4 separate minds slowly learning to speak in the language of something older than humanity. Division 13 eventually stops monitoring the site. Some problems cannot be solved, only delayed. Deep beneath the collapsed earth of Redwood Falls, the Mall of Unbeing sleeps. And around it, like newly formed nerves in the body of something ancient, 4 human consciousnesses listen patiently to the rhythm of its dreams. The lullaby continues, and somewhere in the vast geometry of its mind, the mall begins preparing the next conversation. And that's where we end tonight.
Fuck you, you fucking ass.
Damn.
What? Damn.
Well, they can't all be happy endings.
So, yeah. You guys were never meant to get out of there.
What happened if I did roll that, like, decide to take the edge with 29?
You would have gotten a 30, you would have passed, and then you would have had to roll again when I killed him, and if you would have failed, then you would have lost it all. So, if I needed to go more, if you guys would have, passed your rolls and not taken that many points, then Vinny's death would have just been more brutal to the point where it puts you.
You were telling me how you were going to kill him, and what you said is not as brutal as what you were describing to me earlier.
Yeah.
He was essentially going to have him be a meatball.
Oh, an Italian meatball, huh?
But yeah, so thank you everybody for watching. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day. Next week, we are taking a break from this. We are going to be having Best Damn Game Night. If you've never watched that, it is where we get together and play some games. Usually it is Cards Against Humanity, where we just sit here, we bullshit, we drink. You can ask us questions. We'll answer questions about any of our campaigns if you watched any or listened to any of the campaigns before, as well as what's going on now, what's going to go on in the future, any plans for the business and for the stream and things like that. It's an open questions there. We'll answer anything.
And including Scarlet Tavern, if you
including Scarlet Tavern, if you've listened to Scarlet Tavern, our True Crime podcast, things coming up, all of that. Again, we're going to be playing Cards Against Humanity. We will be drinking. We encourage you to join us. It's a ton of fun.
Ben will be joining us late.
Ben will be joining us late because he does have military drill. But yeah, so please join us next week as we do that. And we hope to see you there. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.